This is The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield from the Lynn Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Michael provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in and logging in to watch. I'm Mike Mansfield with the Lynn Group. I had a general topic today I wanted to focus on, and it's really just because over the years I deal with a lot of people. I hear a lot of weird things about emails and phone calls and scams and viruses and all the different things that are going on in people's lives. And as we continue to be more and more online, even the other day, Social Security Administration announced that they officially are no longer mailing any checks to anybody. Perhaps some of you are thinking, wow, I didn't know they mailed checks. But yeah, some people receive checks in the mail. Everything's digital. Everything's online. It's just the reality of the world. Technology is certainly taking over. On a side note, before I dig into that, obviously we're week 2 of the government shutdown. You'll notice I didn't make a full-blown video on that. That's because it's kind of a nothing burger at the moment. Government shutdowns happen occasionally. We haven't had one in 5 years. The history of a government shutdown is, we'll say, no impact really on the stock market. Obviously, since last week when the shutdown took place, what has the stock market done since? It's only reached new highs. So not a huge economic crisis, nothing we're really concerned about. It appears just to be silly political bantering, because if you follow even what's going on, last March, Congress, including the House and the Senate, they passed a spending bill. And of course, as usual, nobody renegotiated a bill to the last minute. And all they're trying to do at the moment to keep the government open is pass what they call a clean CR, clean continuing resolution bill. They just want to extend the government for like another month, opening up a window of time to negotiate. So the administration proposed a clean CR saying, hey, you guys voted for this last time. So Chuck Schumer and Democrats all voted to pass this current spending last March, and now all of a sudden they won't pass the exact same spending for about one more month to keep the government open, to make sure that people are getting their pay and things of that nature. So it's just political. It just is a little micro thorn in the side. It affects some people. It doesn't affect others. But certainly from an economic standpoint at the moment, nothing we're really worried about. So let's dig right in. So I made some PowerPoint slides. How exciting. How to protect yourself from cyber fraud. So remember, a lot of this is basics. A lot of this you've either heard and you haven't taken your own advice, or you have, but it's tough. Remember, the computers are getting more powerful. We have AI, we have AGI, there's quantum computing. These things can crack codes, they can crack passwords. So if you're using your date of birth and you're using something super basic, be warned, right? You can use whatever you want. I'm not your mom. I'm not here telling you what to do, but be warned. If you have a problem, you can't ultimately just be shocked and surprised. And so step 1 on that little computer, what are you doing with passwords? And this is difficult because it's easy to put in your date of birth and your first name and 1, 2, 3, 4 and an exclamation mark. And it's easy to maintain all of that. Really what you want to be doing is you want to be using things that make it difficult for smart computers, algorithms, and fraudsters to break into. So use strong, unique passwords. Ideally, you would have different ones for each login. You don't want to have the same password for every single thing, because if someone cracks that, they now have the opportunity to get in other places. Ideally, 12 character long makes it much more difficult for a computer to figure out what your password is. Step 2, on top of that, even though it's a hassle, look, it's a hassle for us at work. Every time I log in, I've got to go on my phone and get the codes and do all these things. It's step by step, and we're all living this. But it is super helpful to have 2-step verification, whether they send you an email, whether they send you a text, whether you have an encryption key, whatever the deal is, it is super helpful. Especially, and you can put it in, you're on a personal computer, but that way when you're out in the community in the world, if someone gets your information and they try to log in from Timbuktu, it's going to ping your phone saying, hey, this is a new login area. Is this okay? And you know that something's up, right? One of the ways to do this, once again, I acknowledge that this isn't always fun or comfortable, is you can use a password manager that creates passwords for you, creates oddly complex passwords. Now, if you did this, what you would do is you'd go onto all your computers and onto your phone, and you'd get a third-party password manager. I've listed some on here: LastPass, 1Password, Bitwarden, Dashlane. You could also go through your antivirus, like Norton 360 offers password management and things like that. And what it does is it creates a custom password for you. And then you just have to have one master password, the master password that logs in. And so that's kind of the linchpin, right? You got to remember your own 1Password. And if you can enter your 1Password into one of these things, it will then populate and fill in that new password for you. They're very complicated passwords, which is the point. And so once again, even though this stuff is inconvenient, it eliminates the simplicity of just popping in your date of birth into everything. There's a lot of relevance here because over the years, we've seen a lot of people get scammed, get hurt, have problems. This is something that we want to avoid. Be careful with emails and messages and texts, okay? When it comes to wire transfers, don't just take the information via email and go wire money at the bank. Don't take the information via email, and do it through your brokerage account. There's a huge amount of fraud with wire transfers. If you're trying to do a real estate transaction, if you're trying to pay for something, call the trusted party once they've emailed you the wiring instruction. Call that trusted person that you're working with. Call the escrow person if you're doing a real estate transaction and say, hey, I got your email. I want to confirm that this account number, this routing number, this fax number, whatever these things are, that these are correct. Because it is now very common that scammers are somehow getting into emails in transit and being able to change the account number. And then you enter the wrong account number and you wire the money off to Narnia and it's all gone. The other thing when it comes to this stuff, let's focus on me for a second. The custodian we use is Charles Schwab. If Charles Schwab calls you or emails you directly, well, let's focus on a call for a second. Charles Schwab calls. Hi, this is so-and-so that you've never heard of. Hey, we need to verify you. We have a question about your account. What I want you to do is stop. You don't know them. You don't know why they're calling. You don't give them any personal information. What you do is you get their name and their phone number and you say, fantastic. I'm going to call my advisor. I'll get right back to you. You call us. If there's something going on inside your Schwab account, we're going to know. If there's something going on where you received a call, guess what? We'll reach through the formal channels over to Schwab behind the scenes and figure out what's going on. Why was that outbound call there? Same thing happens with emails. The way emails work for a lot of people, I can't highlight it on here, dang it, is a lot of people receive emails. And so like down here at the bottom of this slide where it says Wealth Management Daily Memo, that's an email I get from some, company, they just send, articles, doesn't matter. And depending on how your email is set up, it might just literally say the words Wealth Management Daily Memo. What I have my email set up to do, it's in the settings, is I want to see who it's from, but then I also want to see the literal email address behind it, because I can go change the header of any email address to say whatever I want. So this one says Wealth Management Daily Memo, but the email behind the scenes could be, Bob's Scam Company, scamming-you-to-death.com, right? And so you need to click on it at a minimum. You need to see what that physical email address is, where this data came from, as one basic way to validate it. So you see anything from Schwab, you see anything from an insurance company, you see anything from anywhere, make sure that you see the physical email where it came from, and you make sure that that is the email that is associated with that institution, because they can mask this stuff and send it from a fake email to trick you. Also, just Look at the validity of it. Don't click on anything inside of emails unless you unequivocally trust it. You know it came from the right source. You know it's your monthly statement. You got to be really careful with this stuff. If you click things inside of emails, they download malware, they download viruses instantly with one click. And then it's on the computer and then it runs rapid. It gets into your passwords, it gets into your stuff, it creates chaos. None of you want to deal with these things. So be very careful. Like I said, don't click or open attachments from unexpected emails or texts. Never, never, never. And like I said, always revert back to calling us if you get something associated with your finance that you weren't expecting. You got to protect your devices, right? This is the interweb. The interweb is a portal of chaos to your personal computer and your personal finances. One of the things that you all need to do, I use PCs at work, so I don't know how you do this on Apple, but on a regular computer, you got to keep it updated. And so if you click the little lower right corner of your computer, the little Windows square, and you go to settings, you can go into Windows updates. You need to be making sure that your computer is up to date. You need to be running the Windows updates. That patches all the security holes. That's why Windows is doing that. They're trying to protect your computer. You need to have antivirus security software on there. Most devices, when you buy them, they come with it. You get your 1-year subscription on your new computer of, I can't remember what the one is with the M, but whatever. You can have Norton Antivirus, Norton 360. The PCs do come with the basic one, the Bitdefender, but you can pay for a little better one that you can run scans. Also, when you're using Wi-Fi, be very careful using public Wi-Fis with personal stuff. If you go into a public Wi-Fi to go look at Facebook, that's, as long as you're not putting in your login credentials, you're logged in, that's fine. If you're perusing the news section of your phone, that's probably fine. But you don't want to be logging into your Chase bank account and into your Schwab brokerage account and putting in all this stuff over public Wi-Fis. Also setting up a private network, a VPN. So that comes with most antivirus softwares these days, where you can turn them on even on your home computer. This does some basic level protecting of your data that you're entering, the location of which you're using it. So it makes it much more difficult for people to identify you, what you're up to, the data points that you're using. And so a VPN is a good way to create some online privacy and protect your financial data. Look, watch your accounts. Right? I mean, it seems pretty simple. You guys should be looking at your accounts regularly. Obviously, you have online access through us to your accounts. In addition to that, many of you still receive paper statements. You need to be looking at this stuff. Now, we watch it. We're watching things on our side. We get alerts set up inside of your investment account. So any activity, even if we've prompted it, is showing up for us. But still, check your statements. Look at the transactions. Make sure that you agree with those things. Go in your bank account. Make sure that you agree with the transactions. As I said, I put here, you can set up alerts for logins and transfers on a lot of different kinds of accounts. I would encourage everybody to do that. Also, remember, a lot of the goal here is to get information from you, is to either set up credit, take advantage of you, get money off of you. One of the subtle things that you can do is do a credit freeze by reaching out to Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion, just one of them. You can put a credit freeze on that freezes all three. And all it does is it says, hey, if anybody tries to apply for credit, buy a new car, open a mortgage, get a credit card, buy a stereo on credit through Best Buy or whatever, it ain't going to go through, and you will get a notification of it, right? It's very simple. You log back in to Equifax or whatever, and you can unfreeze your credit the moment you want to go buy your new ride. So no big deal. Guard your personal information. Do not put personal information online. I know that that's an impossible request, but it is. Remember, people that are really trying to scam you, they'll look at your stuff. They can figure out your mom's maiden name by poking around in your personal profile. Shred stuff before you throw it away. Don't throw away personal data. Only use secure websites when using financial data points. So it's got to have that HTTPS thing on there to be a secure website. Make sure the websites are secure. Stay alert, right? If you receive a suspicious message, stop, verify it. Like I said, if you receive a phone call from Schwab or someone, you don't know them. Just get their name, get their phone number, call us, we'll vet it out. Don't go down a rabbit hole. You get a weird email, guess what? Forward it to me. I'll vet it out. Like I said, if you don't work with us, just contact your advisor directly. Get the name, the phone number. Don't provide information to people you don't know, especially if they've called you. Obviously, if you're calling an institution, that's a little different. And here's some basic points of wisdom. Anything involving gift cards or cash is a scam. If anybody asks you to get a gift card, get cash to help solve a problem with an online issue, it's a scam. Don't do it. Meeting people online who need money, guess what? That's a scam. We've had a lot of clients get involved in this, unfortunately, over the years. It's a scam, period. Social Security does not call you unless you requested a call, period. You get a call from Social Security. Hi, we wanted to help you with your new benefits. This is so exciting. Oh, cool. What's your number? What's your name? Great. I'll get back to you. And then what you do is you go call the main number of Social Security and say, hey, this person with this number just called me saying that you have an amazing benefit for me. And they're going to say, we have no idea what you're talking about. There's also skimming, phishing stuff. So, one of the things that everyone should do is you should have a little RFID card in your wallet. RFID cards slow people down from skimming data. Here, I'm pulling out my wallet. Let's see where mine is. So there's just these little cards. It looks like a credit card, but it just has a little Star Wars force field disruptor. And that way someone standing next to me with a skimming machine can't skim all the data off of my credit cards in my wallet. We have these in our office. If you don't have one, that's fine. I got a box of them. Hit me up. I'll give you some of them. No big deal. So RFID cards. So it's just radio frequency disruptor stuff. So that's it. Like I said, this is just something where we live in a world where, unfortunately, a lot of people are trying to take advantage of us, and we want to make sure that we're protecting ourselves and we're being prudent. And so hopefully you got some basic nuggets about this. Obviously, give us a call. Give the office a call, 805-500-7035. I'd be more than happy to shoot the breeze and discuss this stuff with you guys. But this is something that, unfortunately, at this point in life, it's not if it will happen, it's when it will happen to you. And so have you set yourself up to protect yourself, or are you the next victim? So anyways, questions, thoughts, concerns, certainly let us know. Otherwise, this was kind of a long video, but I thought it would take about 5 minutes to talk through, but I somehow magically stretched it out. Everyone have a great week.